Good morning, afternoon, wherever you're at right now. Today, I wanted to try something completely different from what I've regularly been doing lately. Still working with the MiniMicro system, still working in MiniScript, but I wanted to try some of the graphics capabilities of the system. You can see I'm on the Open Game Art website right now. I found this tile set that is inspiring, so we're going to try getting this tile set loaded into a MiniMicro project and just see what we can make. So here goes. The first thing we're going to need is a project folder. So let's see. There's my microhack project. So we're going to make a new folder here. What will we call this one? Let's call this RPG Light. Make a light role-playing game kind of thing. So get in there. Oh, what was the command? Create a new Git repository. I think it's just git new. Oh, git init. Excuse me. Okay. Open that up in my favorite code editor. And next up, I've already downloaded the graphics assets here. Just gonna dump this whole folder structure into our project. It's the easiest way to make sure we give proper attribution where required by the license. Just keep all the original files. What I'm really hoping to pick on today is some of the sprites, because there's some special sprite libraries built in the MiniMicro that I'd like to play with, just to see what we can do. So, like a player, let's see, we have a couple of, it's not really animated player sprites. Let's look at the demo again. So basically, a lot of these sprites just come with these tiny little animations where the characters will bounce up and down, which is more than sufficient for most roguelike games. You could probably make a decent like JRPG style role playing game out of it as well. So let's start learning. I have not actually tried this before. It's going to be a grand experiment. The next thing we need to have open is the MiniMicro. All right, so is there anything mounted here? Unmount user, anything in user folder? Nothing. So we're going to mount a folder. Let's see. Projects, MiniMicro, RPG Lite. All right, so you can see there's the assets folder. So all our stuff in it. We're going to leave that folder as is, and we're going to see what we need to do to load some stuff into it. So there's two types of display. There's a couple things I'm going to want to try here. One of them, it's actually a QA package. See, if you say we can import the QA package like that, just given the name of it, and then the well, if you just type in QA, you can see everything inside that map, kind of like you would in Python. The display is not the best. But if you go to edit that, I think it's syslibqa, brings up the editor. That's kind of nice. And here's the important thing, it uses display 0. There's 8 displays. Display 0 is the preferred display number for the QA module. So I want to make sure to try to keep that, because it gives us something useful here. QA. Cert fails. It dims all the other displays and gives you a little error message. That's something that I lost with the microhack project, which I'm probably going to need to bring back because it is just so useful. So QA clear. Want to keep a hold of that. And so let's go ahead and import that. New file. Actually, I'm trying to decide if I want to rename this to startup because there's one of the neat things about the MiniMicro that the startup file is going to be run by default, kind of like a batch script when you start the MiniMicro with that disk mounted. And I actually think I'm not going to use that just yet. It's something you would want to use if you're actually going to release your project. But as long as I'm testing, I'd rather just dump me to the command prompt. And let's make this a little bigger. So hopefully everyone watching this video can see what I'm doing. There. Still playing with what a good size is for these videos. We'll see how this works. And this initial bit out of the way. Stage changes. Okay, cool. So we're going to import the QA module. So we're going to have at least 3 displays we're working with. Want sprites, tiles. Going to want some sort of UI sitting under the QA, but above the sprites. So we just need to make sure we leave space for that. I think you can do like this. I'm going to refer to some of my other code to make sure I'm not, we'll know if it breaks in just a minute. Let's reload this. Load. What? Load main. Undefined identifier. QA is unknown in this context. Okay, so yeah, I think we do. That display thing's going to be in trouble because display is actually already reserved. Think. Reset. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to overload what display means. Just a second while I refresh my memory on what I'm doing. This is not going to be a very fast video, and I'm probably going to have to continue it later. But I'm just kind of, I guess, documenting my thought process. Might be a good exercise. Oh, that'll help. You have to put an equals there. You can't just start going for it. Display type. Yes, so I do need the quotation marks. There we go. So there's our display type. Easy as that. And we don't have to do... Actually, before we get too far into that, let me see what the default arrangement is for display, because it'd be nice if we didn't have to make too many changes to what's going on. So, handy little graphic. So sprites are on display 4, then pixels. Tiles is not predefined. Solid color is that last one. So let's leave sprites on display 4. There's a... Let's set up the tile display on display 6. Okay, so we know where we're putting our sprites. Solid on 7. So the solid color display, which is not actually... It's not the primary goal for this, but let's go ahead and do it anyway, because it's actually pretty easy to set up. This is how you do it. Display. Let's set our background to blue. That did nothing. Cool. What did I do wrong? Display type solid. Make sure this is what I think it is. Display 7. Run the instructions. Display 7 is pre-configured solid black display by the clear command. I wonder if we need to clear it after setting the color. So display 7 is a solid color display. It is set to blue. Just reading over the instructions a little bit. Seven. Might have to come back around to that bit because I really thought that that would work. All right, we're just going to come back around to that one. But yeah, it's only those four that actually have the clear method. So I think setting the color should have just modified the background color. Could be something else is including it, so that's not super important. So I'm not going to waste any more time on that. All right, so sprites. We have these sprites. I want to pick on one of them. Let's see, which one will we pick on? The 0 and 1 seems to define some sort of movement. So what I'm going to do, see what the wiki has to say about sprites. Sprite building class in the MiniMicro API. Make this a little bigger for anyone who is trying to read with me. There's an image we added to the SpriteDisplay. Cool. So I like skipping down to example code. Let's just try running that as is and see what happens. That's done like layer 0 PNG. Right, so let's see what happens. Not a lot. Although there is a suspicious blue ring around the screen now. Which makes me wonder if we need to turn some displays off. One, two, three. Let's try turning off everything except for our sprite display. Reset the environment, load the main file, and run it. That did nothing. Cool. Okay, so, we are learning something though. Make sure that's explicitly turned on. Still nothing. Let's try loading that file directly, just to make sure it loads. Actually, load main. Okay, so our sprite variable, SPR, is undefined. Interesting. I wonder if there was a problem. Control C to get out of it, clear, stack trace, current program line 22. Why would it break there? Not found on, not found in map line 21. So I probably just did something. You can't turn it on. The on is not a display mode. Here, let's load up display mode. So these are your display modes. Off, solid color, text, pixel, tile, sprite, and... No, that just converts it to a... That's just a function. We don't need that. Okay, so turn all of them. We're going to turn off the ones we don't need. The one we do need is not on, it is sprite. Still not sure if we need that, but we're going to do that. And once again, break at line 36. So it thinks it's doing something. All right, so at this point, since it keeps very stubbornly not working, we're going to go into the demos to see what we might be doing wrong. Yeah, sprite demo. Well, there you go. So sprites do work. They are a thing. Let's edit that. See if we can figure out what we're doing. Text not clear, graphics not clear. So there's a lot of pre-work being done here to set up the display. Just in case that matters, so since we are still in the learning process here, make all that go away. Text not clear, graphics clear. I'm just going to copy exactly what is going on here. I want to display the text though. That's probably going to come back to get me later. We'll see. Okay, so this part, setting display 4 to the sprite display mode, we're grabbing a reference to it, and we're clearing it. That makes sense. Clearing all the text and graphics. Loading the image, and then sprites push target. So, are we doing that? Yeah. It's like the sprite display has a sprites collection. Let's see what effect that may have on things. Close that out. And there we go. Display mode is unknown. It's one of the problems with late bound languages. I'm calling it late bound language. It's not really an interpreted language. It has an actual virtual machine is compiling the bytecode to run in the background, like Python. Now, I'm getting suspicious about. Yep, image is null. I'm not getting an image because our image is null. What happens if we do this? Assets, DOM-like, layer 0. Nothing. Well, that's kind of suspicious. Why is it not finding that image? Did I misspell something? Let's just make sure. Layer 0, copy path. It's fussing at the backslash. So I'm just reviewing some notes here. That should work. It should be able to load with the forward slashes. Make sure from the documentation if there's any restrictions on sprites. But we'll try just using that built-in one. Just to see if we can get something on the screen. I actually didn't expect it to be this hard to get something on the screen. Which is probably just because I've never done it before. Like, not done it in specifically this way. There's a little critter. The question is, why isn't it loading in that sprite sheet? Well, load image, this, it's, was it a wumpus? It is a wumpus. That actually loads something. Set. Oh my. Oh. Oh, I think I found the problem. It's in the characters subfolder, which is not here at all. Oh, I bet that was it. So this is the life of a programmer. That type of thing. There's the sprite sheet. Okay. Of course, that is too many sprites. It's like we don't want this whole gaggle of characters. We want just this one up here. I wonder if there's a built-in way of handling that. If not, then I'm going to have to come up with something because I don't want to manually split up files. Lanes, corners, scale, rotation. Let's look more at the image here. What can we do with an image? Get image. Get a rectangular subregion of the image as a new image. That is probably the one we want, but is there a way of doing this with, like, is there a built-in thing to split up the tiles? There's a tile display, which is not exactly what this is for. I'm sure that there's a smart way of doing this that's already built in, but we're going to do it like this. So the sprite sheet, 8 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm just gonna count pixels. That looks like it's probably 16 by 16. So layer 0. We're going to start by loading in the player 0 image. I'm going to load in this guy in the top left. Guess I'm trying to decide if this guy up here goes with this guy down here. They look similar. But no, I think it's supposed to animate with the player 1 file. I think. we're going to stick with that until I do something else. So player 0 image, that's our sprite sheet. Get image. Left is 0, bottom, left bottom width height. It's one of the things about the pixel display and the MiniMicro. The 0, 0 is the bottom left instead of the top left, which is upside down from a normal computer display. But it is mathematically correct, so you get used to it. And if you're an algebra student, it should make you really happy. Left bottom width height. 0, 0, 16, 16. That, reload, and it looks like we got some sort of little green dinosaur. Tiny green dinosaur. Can we make that bigger? It's not what we wanted, and also it's too small. Scale, scale, scale. Yes, there's a sprite. That's scale. We're going to set it at 4. Alright, now you can see him. He's still the wrong one. So where is our little dinosaur? He is probably at the very bottom. Yeah, because, said bottom left, not top left. Okay, so I'm guessing we need to change that to 240 because our sprite sheet is 240 pixels high. Let's try that and see if it works. Go into our file. No. Okay. Minus 16 because they're 16 pixels tall. And there's our little dude. Do the rotation in a minute. Alright, so we need constants. Height. 8 for the sprite sheet width. 40 for the height. Because I just don't like magic numbers floating around. Don't like magic numbers, don't like magic strings. Alright, so I would like this guy to animate now. So let's try that. How are we going to do that? We need player 1 image. Zero. And grab that bit. So we have both of those. .300 millisecond animation speed. How do we get the time? You have to print that if you want to see it. I think the time function will give us seconds. Yes. Ooh. So time is a function. You don't have to put parentheses if the function has no parameters, and in fact, having no parentheses is the preferred way of doing it. I'm going to change this from a for loop to a while loop because I don't want it to stop until we tell it to break. So if time minus last animation time is greater than equal to the animation speed, then last animation time equals time. Excuse me while I go OCD about my spacing. Okay, there we go. And then we actually need to animate the thing. So now we have an array of player images. I think that there's a mod operator. 2 mod 4, 3 mod 4, 4 mod 4. Yeah. So we should be able to do equals player animation frame plus 1 mod player images length. Which that's right. Every array should have that len function. Reset sprite image. Player images, player animation frame. Try to stay organized. The bigger this project gets, the more time is going to be spent organizing instead of writing new stuff. That is also just the way it goes. And let's see if this works now that we're clearing those displays. It might. Okay, reset, load the file, run, R is unknown. But hey, solid color display works. Because you can't just do plus equals. R. And I renamed it. I don't know why I renamed it, I just did. Okay. So he bobs and he rotates. That's cool. Gonna do a little bit more work to get this guy to move around before we call it done. So we're gonna comment that out. We don't want him spinning anymore. And I have other examples in my MicroHack project on how to do this, but it's kind of fun just to walk through the process of how to learn it. So key not available. It will not wait for you. It will just tell you if the key is in the buffer. Which is great because we don't want our animation loop pausing while we loop for keywords. So key.get will got key.clear and key.get. Let's check those two. Key.clear clears the keyword input buffer, often used before exiting a game so that any key presses made during the game don't spill out into the command line. Oh, what a good idea. I'm going to put that down here. No, I'm not going to clear it. Just the keys. So doing that, let's check key.get. And I could look this up in another program, but we're just going to do it this way. So you can see the way, just want to show off how you would do this from scratch. All right, so up, the fill function only exists on a string if you import string util, like that. Down, up, left, right. Oh, that's fun, but what are the numbers? I think it is code function to get the numeric value. Up, down, left, right. Cool. So 19 is up, 20 is down, 17 is left, 19 is right. Twenty, 17, 18. Spend some more time getting organized. It really is, most of the software development job is just getting organized. Reading documentation, getting organized, reading more documentation. Okay. Equals key dot. Oh, you catch the syntax error right there. You have to have two equals. That's the difference between a comparison, equality comparison, or trying to reassign something. Okay. Y. No, you gotta do minus equals 1, I believe. Just make sure. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, that doesn't work. A minus equals 1. There. So you have to do the minus equals. Up should be actually plus equals, because y going up, if you want to go up, is positive. That should get our little guy moving around. Reload. Try going left, left, up. Actually, that's not doing diddly squat. Cool. But why not? Did I spell it right? I did. Yeah, those numbers are unchanged. It's like it didn't even care that I was reassigning the value. That is just so rude. Key.get. Make sure it's actually hitting that. Yeah, the arrow key is doing anything. Cool. Sure, that is actually, yeah, it's still getting in there. Up should equal 19. Um, Oh, I wonder if it's a string to integer comparison problem. That would be funny. Because the K, when you press the up arrow, is actually the up arrow string. But code K is the integer, and key.up is an integer. So we're comparing a string to an integer, and I'm betting that just is not a thing. And there you go. He is scooting up. Take out the debug code. Don't like the delay on the key press. Let's see if there's a way to get around that. That will probably be the last thing that I do here. If it's even a thing. Key press, key names, key available, key clear, key access. That might actually be what we want. The key access, it comes from the way Unity, MiniMicro is built in Unity. And the Unity handles the access like this, where you can map an access to a set of keys. Um, yeah, that's actually exactly what I want. Here, we'll create a player speed, set it to 4 pixels. We're going to just set that bit aside for now and steal this code. Player speed. This up just a little bit more. Clean up, clean up. Always about cleanup. Stuff that up there with our other constants. There's all the SPRs have been renamed to player sprite. I think we just about have it though. Let's see what this does. Oh, that makes me happy. That guy's zooming around now. Ta-da! We have our player sprite. I think I'm going to stop it for now. We've been at this talk for a while. Kudos if you're still here listening. And yeah, next time I'm going to try adding a second sprite and see if we can get the two to interact with some sort of sprite controller. That should be fun. And yeah, hope to see you again soon. Or that's it.